ministers and the technical backups from various ministries, Office of the President and the Office of the Vice President, Office of the Clerk, colleague members of Parliament. I owe each and every one of you a big thank and a congratulations for your commitment and your dedication to the work that this Parliament have been doing since the commencement of this ordinary session. Honorable Speaker, I also want to use this opportunity to thank the people of my constituents for their continued support that they've been giving me throughout the course of my work in Parliament. It is not definitely easy. Sometimes you have issues before you that are outside your personal expertise. You need an orientation or guidance from people who are from your constituents to help you be able to properly deliberate on those matters. So I want to thank everybody, those who released their concerns on various social media platforms for me to be able to talk about them in Parliament, and those who texted me, those who called me to talk about issues of constituents. I definitely appreciate this, and this is what makes us members of Parliament to definitely do more consultation to be able to raise concerns that affect the people of our constituents. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, to begin with, I also want to definitely send this heartfelt sudden message to the people of Key West constituents about the recent flood which occurred in the constituents. This issue definitely falls under the purview of the Office of the Vice President. This was a tragedy, a flood that affected 7 compounds, and no single house was left collapsed, not collapsed in all the 7 compounds. All the houses in the entire 7 compounds were collapsed. It was a serious flood which can cause a pandemic. It is serious, and in fact, I think the affected families required an emergency health screening. It was a very, very serious flood, and no single property was escaped from these various families. 7 compounds were affected with 12 households. More than 50 people are affected with this flood. And as we speak, they don't have food to eat. And I think this is an emergency issue that National Disaster Management Agency must put an emergency approach to this to ensure that these people have place to sleep and they have food to eat. Let's look at the causes of flood, Honorable Speaker. We've realized that this is the first of its kind in the history of that community in KIANG, Kulikunda. The causes of flood is due to the road construction which is undergoing in Kia West. The entire waterways were directed to only one culvert, which is very, very small, which was not the case initially, because the contractors confirmed that they are the ones who directed all the waterways, all the drainage systems to come to that small culvert. And now it cannot be able to, allow the passage of the entire water flowing from the entire community. And we have negotiated with the contractors and the Ministry of Works to ensure that this is done. On Saturday, we went there with the representative of the Ministry of Works and the consultant and the contractor to put an emergency approach to this, because otherwise, if it rains again, the same thing could occur. And to avert that, Ministry of Works should put an attention to this so that we could address this as soon as possible. From there, Honorable Speaker, Minister of Energy, we want to let you know that the electricity expansion which is going into rural areas is bypassing some communities, and this is creating so many confusions. Let's try to treat taxpayers if not equally, but to apply the principle of equity. Let's distribute the national resources with the principles of equity. Those of us who understand development knows what I'm trying to talk about. Let's evenly distribute national resources. It is a big security for the government. It is a big protection for the life and livelihood of the people. If the national resources is not being distributed well, equally, it creates